Hello, welcome to Talk a Good Game. It's just finished. Newcastle United 3, West Ham United 2. A chance for the Hammers to go third, not taken by West Ham. Gonzo, let's get straight into it. So before it was 1-0 Newcastle, so the first half hour or so, what were you thinking?
I thought passing was poor. I thought we were struggling to get Jesse Lingard into the game. And the more I sort of watched it, and it is in hindsight because I pretty much selected this team anyway, with not including the omission of Masuaku. I was looking at it and I was thinking, actually, bearing in mind how defensive they were, how much possession we had, I thought we had one too many workhorses on the pitch. I was looking at it thinking either Noble or Fornell shouldn't have been there. There should have been someone creative in one of their places. So I thought we were just struggling to break them down, really.
I think we were massively missing Aaron Creswell. I think we had nothing going forward. We couldn't get Lingard in the game. Fornell just wasn't doing anything. Bowen was sloppy. I think a lot of our players are sloppy. I think there was a bit of nerves, perhaps. I thought Mark Noble was possibly the only player that wasn't doing misplaced passes regularly. At one point in the first half, I think it was Dawson played out to Ogbonna. He missed it, ran after it, got it just before the touchline, and it still rolled out for a throw-in.
Yes.
So Fowler was missing. The short passes were sloppy. Dawson's first yellow card come from Jared Bowen playing Yolenton in one-on-one with him. We were just really poor from the start. It was just, we couldn't string anything together. It was just disappointing, really. I thought Creswell, though, I worried that we'd miss Creswell, and I just felt like that is your attacking. When we go forward, he is an attacking player. A couple of times Ogbonna tried to run forward, but it just doesn't look natural. I think Johnson was struggling. He was getting forward well, but he just gets to the byline and struggles a little bit because he's on his left foot. I think Soufal was our best attacking player, and that is not a good thing. But two incidents happen in one. First of all, Newcastle score, but at the same time, Craig Dawson gets sent off. What's your thoughts on both incidents?
Firstly, it was poor technique from Dawson. The first touch was so horrendous; it puts himself into trouble. He's already on a yellow card, and it was a stupid thing to do. It was an absolutely stupid thing to do. Also, he wasn't the last man, so it wasn't like he had to get sent off to stop them scoring a goal. There was other cover there. I just think he lost his mind, bearing in mind he was already on a yellow card. And obviously the play, before he even got sent off, the play carried on. And Diop just lost all his coordination, really. He just his feet got stuck under him. He just didn't look... It was uncoordinated, mate, unbalanced, and ended up backheeling the ball into his own net, basically. But it was a catalogue of errors at that point, but really poor judgment by Dawson and poor technique.
In the preview, I said to you, remember, I didn't want Dawson playing this game. I didn't want him playing because he was going to struggle against this Newcastle attack. 10 minutes in, he's had to collateral Yolenton on the halfway and take a yellow card. Now, I can kind of understand why he's done it, okay? Because I know when you watch the replays, you can see Mark Noble's there, Diop's kind of there, but I don't know if Dawson knows they're there. So Dawson takes the yellow card and you think, okay, but now how are you going to go 18 minutes playing like this? And there was enough warnings. There was plenty of warnings for Dawson and West Ham because Newcastle kept on counter-attacking and Dawson kept on having to back off. And that's why Newcastle were ending up on our 18-yard all the time because Dawson couldn't tackle. He had to just keep on reversing until someone else arrived. So but his second yellow is just unforgivable. It's shocking. His first touch is horrendous. And then his decision to go lunging in after it is even more horrendous. I don't understand what he's doing. The first touch is heavy. Okay, not ideal. But stand still and back off and get into position and let someone else come or just try and block whatever Yolenton's away to do. But the fact he just lunges in again is just stupid and unforgivable. What he's done, it's just unnecessary. Because I don't understand why he's done it. Well, I do understand because this Dawson's not been good enough for a few weeks now. This isn't the first poor game he's had. He's been playing poorly for a few weeks. When we did the player ratings, I've been giving him 5s and 6s at best over the last few weeks because I think it's been that. The warning signs have been there about Dawson and we've ignored them to some extent. The warning signs, not just in the previous game, just today, he got a yellow card and he was still struggling and we just ignored them. Now, should we have subbed him? Probably not, but I don't think there's any West Ham, when he got sent off, I don't think any West Ham fan thought, bloody hell, that's a bit of a surprise. We all seen it coming. And this is only the 36th minute, and we could all see Dawson was in trouble for that game. As for Diop, he should do better. It's a bit clumsy kind of thing, and it's just a comedy of errors, really. And you just think, bloody hell, here we go. But 5 minutes later, it's 2-0. Goes to a corner for Newcastle. Fabianski catches it and then drops it.
Yeah, and not under any real pressure either, unfortunately. I almost think him landing, he sort of caught it in the air, and him landing, he obviously didn't have a good enough grip on the ball, which again is not great for a goalkeeper not to be able to do that. I mean, it's a shame because he's got a lot of credit in the bank, but he's not somebody that is the most comfortable under crosses anyway. I feel a bit sorry for him there, actually, but the last thing we needed was another individual error after that. And it sort of reminded me of the Arsenal game a little bit earlier on in the season, where it was 2 individual errors that did it. But, it's so hard then 2-0 down against 10 men when you've got 10 men. It's horrible. Just really bad, Joe. We all knew then, really, didn't we?
One of them, you're still trying to get over 1-0 down and down to 10 men at that point. And then you see the corner come in, you see Fabianski catch it and drop it. And he's done it a few times this season, but usually there's no one around him. It's not often from corners. It's usually from crosses. So he's got that space to drop the ball and then catch it again kind of thing. He just doesn't get off with it today. He drops it in front of Yolenton. He just knocks it in the back of the net. But my half-time, I mean, what are you thinking?
Substitutions now. I think he's got to do something. He's got to grab the ball by the horns and try and score some goals. We have to go attack him because we did lack, as I said, even before the goals went in, we lacked any real creativity, any real incision. Not being able to get Lingard into the game was massive, really, and we needed something else. And I really needed either Noble or Fornells, but I actually put down Fornells to come off for Ben Rama at that point. But I wouldn't have minded if it was Lanzini, Ben Rama, Yarmolenko, just something. Let's get some shots going. Let's get a final ball. Let's do something else, because it seemed to be so concentrated on Lingard, and Lingard was dropping deeper and deeper to get involved in the game, that you really needed to pose them another problem. And they didn't really need to worry about too many other people. There was a real lack of creativity. I mean, in terms of technique from wide areas, I mean, they were willing, they were both getting down there, but there weren't quality deliveries for too much of the game. So we're almost totally reliant on Lingard to do something and try and bring Bowen into the game in some way. And it just wasn't happening. So I expected substitutions at half-time, mate. Yeah,
I was the same, because while the goals were down to individual errors, two goals, 2 individual errors, we didn't look like scoring, though. It's not like, did we feel harsh to be down 2-0 at half-time? Probably not, because Newcastle, while they scored with individual errors, they were creating enough going forward. They were testing Fabianski left, right and centre. They were shooting on sight. They were getting the ball in the box. And they had a game plan, and their game plan was effective, and it was working. And I think today we saw the difference between a side that is okay with 1 point in Newcastle, that they could sit back and play counter-attacking football. And I think the emphasis was on us, where a point probably wasn't enough for us. We had to capitalise on this opportunity to go third, and we needed to get the 3 points. And I think we saw that. It was like, you have the ball, what are you going to do? And our answer was not a lot, unfortunately. I was very disappointed with how we played in the first half. I thought we'd have a bit more than that about us. I was worried about the loss of Masuaku, but I thought we'd still had enough on the pitch to create that Newcastle team problems in the first half. And we didn't bother them at all. It was an easy first half for the goalkeeper, for the Newcastle back three. They would have come off at half-time thinking the clean sheet's in the bag. And I wouldn't blame them at all. I want to see a substitution or two. I'd have probably liked to have seen Ben Rama, for who I'm not too sure. Probably would have been Fornals, because like I said, I thought Martin Noble was the only one that was finding a teammate with his passing. Passing wasn't overly adventurous. It was a bit safe at times, but he was ticking the ball over. But he was struggling today. His lack of pace was exposed massively in the first half, because every time Newcastle got it, they just ran down the middle of the pitch. They weren't dribbling past anyone or that. They were just running in a straight line, and they were outside 20 yards out from our goal. It was like every time they got the ball, it was ending up in a shot. It was concerning. But we came out of the second half going, so Steve Bruce did what David Moyes has done the last few weeks, which is we've got the 2-goal lead. Let's protect it. It played into our hands a little bit, and we started to get the ball and knock it around a little bit.
Yeah, we did. And but again, in light of the fact that we started to have the possession, I still thought, okay, well, we've got this now, but we were still almost trying to get it to Lingard to finish it off, sort of thing. So just bring someone else on. We actually have possession. We have momentum now. We have a bit of control of the game. Let's bring in somebody else, because it just wasn't going. I'm not laying this thing at full now. I know I've mentioned him 3 or 4 times now, but it's just one of those guys in the middle that can unlock something, which wasn't him today, you know. So I thought that was would have been the time to do it, but we scored a goal anyway.
Yeah, I thought when we come in the second half, I thought the attitude was good, and at this point with no changes, but I thought we had a good attitude. I thought we had a bit of a game plan, and it was get the ball wide and get down the sides a lot, which was working. Ben Johnson and Sufal were both getting plenty of opportunities to cross the ball, but I don't think their crossing was great. There was 1 or 2 from Johnson when he could get onto his right that was decent enough. I don't remember a decent cross from Sufal. Often some of his crosses were going out for goal kicks behind the goal and stuff, and I was just a bit disappointed that them two weren't able to provide a little bit better quality. But there was just nothing in the box to aim for. We've got Lingard and Boyd. They're not going to win anything against Clark, Fernandez, and even Dummett. They're not going to beat them in the air. So it was almost like you do the hard bit, which is getting into a position to cross. But once you were there, it was sort of like just belt it in the box and see what happens. We were almost hoping we'd go out for a corner so we could get the big boys up for it. Sometimes Souček wouldn't be in the box, but when he did get in, the crosses didn't come in. They weren't good. The crosses just weren't good enough. Newcastle gave us plenty of opportunity to cross the ball in the second half. And we didn't do anything until the 75th minute because we had a corner come out. Jared Bowen got it. Lovely ball in, Gonzo, but a fantastic header.
Yeah, and to be fair, we had one chalked off against Leicester, which was, I know it was Lingard popping it in, but Lingard did the same, more or less the same ball that Bowen did there. So that's not an unexpected goal to score if Newcastle had done their homework on that. And it was tight for offside. Obviously, the one against Leicester was offside, but he was just about on, wasn't he? I thought the keeper was going to save it actually, but I guess he directed it well and directed it down. A good delivery from Bowen as well. And at that point, you're thinking, surely not. Surely we can't do this, can we?
Yeah, I think we probably deserved the first goal, the Diop's goal. I think we deserved it. You did wonder if it was maybe a little bit too late in the game, but there's still 17 minutes of normal time to go kind of thing. And I thought we were the better team in the second half. That attitude that we'd had in the first half, it'd been a bit better. But it's all context, because I do think Newcastle played into our hands a little bit by coming out in the second half, playing a bit deeper. Saint-Maximim come off round about the 63rd minute. That massively hit. Newcastle's attack stopped. Yeah. Okay, they went on to score a third one. But their threat and the counter-attack completely died as soon as Saint-Maximim went off. Almiron was trying stuff. He's just not good enough, Almiron. He'd run forward like Saint-Maximim and his shot would be like a daisy cutter or going wide, whatever. And I never really felt threatened too much by Newcastle once Saint-Maximim was off the pitch. But anyway, goal number 2 does come, but what a wait we had for it. Ball in, Souček goes up for it with Clark, gets cleared away, everything seems all right, a bit of an injury, no problem, then all of a sudden they're checking VAR and the pen's given. Is this a penalty for you?
Yes. Yeah, I think it is by the letter of the law. Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, you can't. His arms shouldn't really be up there. It was also the only way he was going to out jump Souček, which is why he did it. If he keeps his hands by his side and he's not going to out jump Souček wins the header anyway. So he had to do that to sort of get over him and I don't actually think he was trying to handle the ball, but he had to do that to get up there. So it was handball. Amazing. Really from Lingard that he had to wait all that time. He did look nervous. But actually, I think the weight hindered us, funny enough, because whilst we scored the penalty and Lingard did really well to score that and remain composed and the keeper came out and the guy took ages to get treated, we actually did have a lot of momentum then. And I think it actually allowed Newcastle to have a drink, to reorganise. It stopped for quite some time. So there was so much injury time at the end. And whilst we did score, it sort of sucked the momentum out of us as well, which is why
they did an important sub about a minute after the goal as well.
Yeah, of course they did. Yeah, absolutely. A pivotal one. Yeah. So, it was but a very, very good penalty and good composure from Lingard.
The letter of the law. I think it's a pen. As a sort of a football fan that is ignoring the rules for a minute, I don't like seeing them give us pens. I think the defenders. They say his arms are not in a natural position. I think that is a natural position when you're jumping for the ball, but it's above his shoulder height. Should it be there? No, but do you understand why it is there? Absolutely. That he's just jumped for the ball kind of thing. You see that happen all the time. If that, doesn't hit his arm, then it's deemed a good challenging head, and there's nothing wrong with his arm there. So to some aspects, then if his arm shouldn't be there, it's a foul. Well, no, it's not. It's just a well-won header. It's only because it hits his arm. It's a bit unfortunate. So I feel a bit harsh for Kieran Clark and Newcastle fans who are probably watching the game behind the sofa like we have the last couple of weeks when it's 3-2 and stuff. They're probably thinking the same thing. They need a little bit of luck when they're down the bottom, and the pen goes against them. You're thinking, this is a harsh pen. I thought it was a harsh pen on Newcastle, but letter of the law is well done by Lingard, because like you said, the weight is massive. No one wants to be waiting that long before they take a pen, especially one with that much importance. But I did like those. As soon as we scored it, we got the ball, ran back the halfway line with it, saying, let's go get the win. Let's go get the 3 points. The belief was there. Johnson then cleared it off. Line Gonzo, good attack by Newcastle. I think, Almiron misses what was a tap in. How he's missed that, I don't know. Jacob Murphy's shot offline by Ben Johnson, but just a few minutes later, though, Joe Willock, who came on for Sean Longstaff a couple of minutes after Lingard's goal. Lovely ball in by Matt Ritchie, and Willock's at the back post up against Ben Johnson. Lovely header. 3-2 Newcastle.
Yeah, I mean, it's a shame because I didn't think Johnson really contested that. I think he would have. Cresswell even would have, even though Johnson's bigger than Cresswell, I feel Cresswell would have sort of body checked him a little bit. I don't mean fouled him, but would have put him under a little bit more pressure. It was a sickening blow. That it really was, to get back into that game. And I don't know what to say about that. That was really bad to make all that effort to come back and to get into that position and then to concede straight away like that. I guess is quite telling, particularly given the recent performances and the amount of goals that we have conceded recently. We are shipping an awful lot of goals. I'm pretty sure that would have given them confidence to know that actually we could go and score against this team.
Half them are individual errors as well. That's the worst thing. If John Shelby rocketed in a 30-yard top corner strike, you sort of shrug it and go, well, what can you do? But today, and not just today, the other goal, we scored some own goals recently. Today is down to just, their third one. There's a bit of a push on Ben Johnson, but he's got to be doing better, Johnson. This is a man's game. I know he's young, but he's not. He's still an adult. He's 21, 22 years old or something. There's no excuse now. He's not a 16-year-old. He's got to be doing better than that at the back post. It's just frustrating that he does so well to clear it off the line, prevent a goal. He then goes and not quite hands it to him, but it's a 50. It starts off as a 50-50, but by the time they go to win the ball, it's 90-10.
He doesn't contest it. I think that's the thing. He doesn't contest it.
Willock just wants it. Either Johnson doesn't know where Joe Willock is, or Joe Willock just wants it more, which would be even more disappointing. It's either poor defending or a poor attitude to some extent. It's one of the two, and it's just, Fabianski's a bit unlucky with it. It's right at him, and he tries to push you over the bar, but it's just when a player powers it at you, because he's got decent connection with that Willock. It's a real strong header from 4 yards. As a goalkeeper, you can't be expected to save it per se. And full time, Gonzo, 3, Newcastle 3, West Ham 2.
Yeah, that's the first time we've seen that West Ham for a little while, actually. That's sort of, what we're used to. We've had such a good record against the teams lower down the league. Funny enough, not Newcastle, because they've done double over us this season, which is strangely weird, bearing in mind we just did a double over Leicester and before that the double over Wolves. This was a game to win, but I couldn't help but feel that all the injuries caught up with us today as well. And individual errors and the poor defence and the lack of urgency in terms of the substitutions at half-time. It's just almost everything went against us. Plus, Newcastle had players that come back that weren't there 3 weeks ago. They didn't have Saint-Maximim there and Callum Wilson to come on. So, it's almost everything has gone against us on a game that we really, really needed to win. It is actually quite sick, and it actually makes you feel quite sick watching it. It just drains you. It's just totally draining watching that game, really, and just such a shame. It's weird. I was going to say such a shame we didn't contest it, but we did contest it because we got back to 2-2. But it's strange. I'm almost less concerned about them coming back and scoring 3-2 than I am about the way we started the game in the first half. Do you know what I mean? I feel that was where it was lost. I actually think it did really well to go down to 10 men and then get 2 goals back. That was really good, but we just never should have been. I'm more disappointed about being in that position in the first place of not being able to open them up and then being so silly that we conceded 2 goals and went down to 10 men. That's where we lost it.
Yeah, I agree with that, really. I think the first half performance is possibly the worst 45 minutes I've seen us play. The calamity errors, there was almost a lack of desire. I think there was a bit of nerves, and I think I've got some sympathy with the team to some extent because it is an occasion that most of them won't be used to. But there was 1 or 2 players that I'd expect to be used to that occasion, like Lingard in particular, where I'd expected to see him step up a bit more. I was a bit disappointed by Jesse Lingard today. I felt like this is the kind of game where you want to see him stick his chest out and say, I'm going to win this game. Actually, the player that did it on the pitch was Saint-Maximim. He was the one that stuck his chest out and said, give me the ball. I'm going to win this game. And Newcastle were good value for their win in the end. It's just gutting because the old West Ham's turned up a little bit. And normally you can laugh at it a little bit. You can sometimes have a chuckle and say, how West Ham is this? Because it is West Ham. But then today, it's not really funny. Today just stings. It just hurts.
Because there's something riding on it today. That's
because I almost believed today that actually the old West Ham wouldn't turn up. I didn't think they would. I thought we'd win. You know, when I saw the lineup, no Masuaku, I was a bit apprehensive. I was a little bit less confident, but I still expected us to go get the win. And very pleased with our character in the second half. But the character in the first half was non-existent. The individual errors are just stupid. And when you want to achieve something, you can't have mistakes like that, and you will get punished. We did today. We got punished by Newcastle. Fair play to Newcastle. Massive 3 points. They're probably safe in the Premier League now for another season. Big win for them. They deserved it. Our attitude was fantastic in the second half. Newcastle's attitude was fantastic over 90 minutes. You know, that didn't look like a team. Well, it actually did. It did look like a team down the bottom table, but it looked like a team down the bottom table fighting for their lives and playing for their club and stuff. So I'm only full of praise for them. But now we're not going to talk about individual performers. We'll have to do a video later on this evening or tomorrow about the individual performers because obviously it's coming up to the funeral of Prince Philip. So we're going to end this stream in a couple of minutes. But Gonzo, regarding the game itself, is there anything you'd like to add?
No, it's, you know what, mate, we needed 3 points today. I don't really care how we got it. I would have taken, you know, a terrible performance and the 3 points. That was, it actually doesn't bode particularly well for, you know, like the Brighton game and things like that, which aren't going to be easy either. It's not the end though. I'll tell you that much now.
We're commenting on a game, not the big picture here.
No. We can still absolutely get European football, but it's very disappointing. Very disappointing today. We need some players back, Gio, and I think that's my overriding feeling at the end of that game. We really need 1 or 2 of those players back just to try and get us back on track. Hopefully, that's a bit of a wake up call today.
Puts a bit of pressure on the Chelsea game as well. I think we probably need something from that game now. I think if we won today, we could have got away with a defeat even to some extent. But after today, I feel like we need a point against Chelsea. At least we need a draw to keep our sort of European ambition on track. But it's not the end of the season. The big picture is we're still well and truly in it. And, you know, like I said, there's some positives to take from today. Not many, 1 or 2. And it's mainly about attitude rather than individual performances or something like that. And hopefully we'll do a video about individual performers, Gonzo. We'll do a video about them in a bit. But anyway, we're going to end the stream because of the Prince Philip funeral. We're going to go pay respects and participate in a minute of silence. If you've enjoyed this review, do drop a like on it. Subscribe to New Hammers channel. Keep your eyes out. We've got loads of videos coming either tonight or tomorrow about the game as well. And then on Monday at 7 o'clock, myself and Gonzo will be live. So join us for that. We'll catch you in a bit.